Hey guys, in this video I'm doing an updated how to use FSD in your Tesla vehicle. So to turn it on, what we want to do is click on the icon of our car in the bottom left hand corner to open up our menu. In our menu, we want to click on where it says self-driving, and then in here you want to make sure that you're selected on full self-driving. Also worth noting, if you're not currently subscribed to FSD, it's not going to show up in this area. So to check on that, you can always go to your software menu. And in the software menu, find the area where it says full self-driving capability, and I have the FSD package, so it says included there, but this is where you'll see if you have FSD or not. And I'll also quickly take you over to my phone to show you where you can see your subscription options through the Tesla app if you want to look at it through there. From my phone, launching the Tesla app, and then scroll down until you find where it says upgrades in the Tesla app and click on that. And then from there at the top, you should find software upgrades, selecting that. And if you aren't already subscribed to FSD, you should find it in your upgrades menu. Select the FSD subscription option, and then it should update to your account and allow you to access FSD through your Tesla vehicle's menu. Now that we have FSD selected in our menu, for your speed profile, to start out, I'd recommend maybe going down to chill or even sloth. And these can be changed with the scroll wheel while we're driving. But what these speed profiles do are just adjusting how aggressive the vehicle is going to drive. So if you're in sloth, that's never going to go over the speed limit. It's going to be very cautious with its decision making, and just to get started off and getting used to FSD in the system, perhaps that's something that you would want to start with. And then chill is going to be going around or just slightly above the speed limit when you get going. Standard is probably what most of you guys are going to be comfortable with. It goes about 5 or so miles an hour over the speed limit. And these are also going to be things like how often it changes lanes, how often it's going to try to pass people that are going slower than you, how aggressive it's going to make decisions such as on left-hand turns and things like that. So perhaps you want to start out with one of the profiles such as sloth and chill, and then work your way up to the other ones if you want to go a bit faster than that. Now the next thing we want to do is navigate to a destination. So right now I'm sitting in this parking lot of this park right here. So let's navigate over to another park, and we'll select this one right here. So you can just select a spot on the map and then navigate to that area. You can also manually enter in the address or the place that you would like to go in the navigation bar. You can also use the microphone on your steering wheel and dictate the location that you would like to go to. But for this example, I'm just going to select this parking lot over here, and then I'm going to click the navigate option there. And then it's going to find the best route. And now that I'm buckled in and ready to go, we can see that I can click Start Self-Driving. Now, in the menu, in the self-driving area, the brake to confirm, if you have that turned on, that just means that you have to hold down the brake before you have the option to select this button to start self-driving. But I don't have the brake confirmation turned on, so all I have to do is click where it says Start Self-Driving. And from parked in my parking spot, it's gonna find us from here to the destination and everything in between. Now, we're still in charge of the vehicle if something were to go wrong, so we need to pay attention and be ready to take over if that is what is necessary. But it's going to get us from point A to point B and everything in between. That includes getting us out of parking lots, stopping at stop signs, making right and left-hand turns. It can drive us through neighborhood roads, city streets, highways. It can exit on and off highways. It can take roundabouts. It's going to identify this speed bump coming up and slow down while we're going over it. It's going to identify stop signs and stop for those, stop lights, yield signs. Anything that you would face as a driver, that's what FSD is trying to accomplish in getting you from where you're starting to where you're going, everything in between. If you'd like to turn off FSD and take over yourself, there's 3 different ways that you can go about doing this. You can tap the brake pedal, you can manually take over the steering wheel, and given enough force, it will turn off FSD, and then you'll be in control. And you can tell when FSD is turned off because then this blue line will no longer be in front of your car. And this is just indicating where FSD is planning on going. But when you take over, that blue line will disappear. The third way to turn off FSD is by clicking in the right scroll wheel. So if I click that in there, you can see that that blue light turned off, and that means that I'm now in control when this line goes from blue to this gray. And to turn it back on, I'm going to click in the right scroll wheel, and that turns it back on. Now, if you have stalks, it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to pull down on the right stalk. It's like turning on cruise control or autopilot, same kind of thing. It's also going to depend on what you have in the settings for turning it on. It might be a double pull down, but you can also just have it as a single pull down. And then to turn it off, it's going to be a push up on the right stalk. So those are the different options we have to take over. We can tap the brake, we can take over the steering wheel, we can push in the right scroll wheel, or if you have stalks, you can push up on the right stalk. and that will turn it off, and then you will manually be in control of the car at that point in time. So now we're coming up to this roundabout, and it'll use the yield sign, but if nothing is coming, it's not going to slow down too much. It's just going to continue on through this roundabout, and there's no other traffic in the roundabout, so it's going to continue on, and it turns on the blinker to exit out of the roundabout. And it does a really great job with these roundabouts. I never really run into issues with them, even if there's a lot of traffic and other cars in the roundabout. It has a pretty good idea and a sense of when it should go and what it should do in those scenarios. What driver profile that you're selected on is going to show up right here. So I'm selected on standard. That's probably what most people are going to be comfortable with. It's generally going to drive just a little bit over the speed limit, but not so much that you're going to be worried about maybe a cop pulling you over for speeding. It's generally going to be going maybe about 5 or so miles over the speed limit once it gets going. We can see that right here. It's going 35 in this 30-mile-an-hour zone. If you'd like to change this, you can do so in this little drop-down menu, but the easiest way to change this is with the scroll wheel. So if you scroll up, it's going to go to hurry, and then scroll up again, it'll go to Mad Max. Scrolling down, back to standard, and if we scroll down again, it's going to go down to chill, and scrolling down again, it'll go down to sloth. So scrolling down is going to be a slower profile, and then scrolling up is going to be a faster, more aggressive profile, and you can make those changes with the scroll wheel if you don't want to dive into the menu. Another thing we can do in this drop-down menu is for the location that we're going to, we can have it park at the destination, and we can say whether this is going to be a parking lot, a street, or a driveway, and this is going to be a parking lot, so I can select that right there. You can also just have it pull over to the side of the road if you don't want it to park at your destination. Again, those are going to be in this area right here. So if you're going to your home address, you would want to select driveway and park there, but where we're going, it's going to be a parking lot situation, so I'm going to have it try to find parking in that parking lot. You could also be going to a place that maybe has a parking on the side of the street, for instance. You could select that there as well. So those are the different options you have in this little drop-down menu. It's identifying this traffic light that's in front of us, and it's red, so it's of course going to stop right where it's indicated here with the crosswalk, stopping a little bit behind where that crosswalk is identified, and then it'll wait for this red light to turn green, and then it'll just quickly make sure nobody's coming from either direction, and then it will take off. Now we're coming up to a railroad crossing with a yield sign, and it's going to slow down just to make sure that there's no train coming in this instance. And FSD is way better at recognizing these railroad crossings than it used to be in the past. So it will slow down, and as long as no train is coming, it will go through, and it won't stop completely, especially at something like that where it's a yield sign. It'll just slow down, identify that no train is coming, and then go through without coming to a complete stop and without disrupting the flow of traffic. So at stop signs, it's also going to completely stop, and maybe that's not quite what the average driver would do. In those instances, if you'd like it to go a little bit faster, you can always just do a slight tap on the accelerator if it's your turn to go and you're feeling safe that the car is ready to go. Again, you can tap on that accelerator, and then it won't stop to 0 miles per hour if you're in control of the accelerator and doing that and pushing it through. And we're getting close to our destination, and I said that I wanted it to find a parking spot in the parking lot, so it's going to turn into this park right here, and we'll see how it does as it looks to find a parking spot. It's pulling in, and it's finding a nice spot here, pulling in, straightening out, and coming to a complete stop. This is typically the experience on FSD. It'll be able to get you from where you're started to where you're going, everything in between. This example here, we had a speed bump, roundabout, stop signs, turns, stoplights, everything like that, and it was able to execute all of those flawlessly. But again, the driver is still liable, so if it's speeding, if it's making the wrong traffic decisions, if the navigation isn't quite right and it's making the wrong decisions with those, you still need to be paying attention, ready to take over the steering wheel or the accelerator or the brake pedal. And that is something to keep in mind. Even though it's such a great system and it's getting better and better all the time, we still need to be vigilant and be attentive to what is going on. But I hope this video is helpful, walking you through how to turn on FSD, and if you're not subscribed, where you can access that through the Tesla mobile app. And then getting it started, you need to enter in a location that you'd like the vehicle to travel to, whether that's typing in an address or a location, dictating it through the microphone, and I'll just show you quickly an example of that. Navigate to Meyer. Then it's going to show me the mire that is down the street from where I currently am, and it'll give us a path to go down. Also, if you give it a destination and there's a lot of them in the area, you'll just have to select from a list of ones which one you would like to go to, and then it'll navigate to the one that you had selected. So there's some different ways that you can go about navigating, whether you dictate it with your voice, whether you type it in yourself in the navigation area, or whether you just drop a pin on the map exactly where you'd like to go. But that'll wrap up this video. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope it was helpful in terms of getting you started with FSD, how to get you from point A to point B, everything in between. And that'll bring us to the end of this quick FSD tutorial video. Thank you to Joa for supporting this video. Please consider supporting my channel by clicking the Joa link down in the description to shop their premium Tesla products and accessories. Using my Joa link will apply my exclusive discount code thanks to any items that you may be interested in. Thank you.